Thank you for tuning in to the Afternoon Pint. This episode is sponsored by Camilla Najat of Exit Realty, Strategy Up Business Consultants, and ISS Atlantic Security Guard Services. Enjoy the show. Cheers!
Cheers!
Welcome to the Afternoon Pint. I'm Mike Tobin.
I am Matt Conrad.
And who do we have with us today?
Dalene Kernier Allen. So glad to be here.
Nice to meet you here. Thank you so much for coming by. So, I guess to the people listening, who is Dalene?
A girl from Glen Margaret, Nova Scotia, on the road to Peggy's Cove, the oldest of 7 daughters.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're the networking queen.
I am the networking queen.
You're the networking queen.
That's right.
Absolutely.
My name rhymes with queen.
There you
My
go.
mother, when we were bad as little kids, used to say, "I'd like to crown you." So, queen of networking, Dalene.
There you go. Okay, that's it. But realistically, you've had a large reach. So I mean, there are probably a lot of people that are going to listen to this that are going to know your name, know your face, simply for lots of different reasons. I mean, you were the executive director, is what the title was for BNI?
Business Network International. That's correct, for Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that would have reached probably thousands of people alone, right?
BNI's in 80 countries, 330,000 members that pass a better quality referral that generated last year about $26 billion US in new business for BNI members. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. And then you also have your own,
Yeah.
other business of networking naturally.
Exactly. If you think back to being kids in school, did they ever teach us how to make a friend? Right? CBC just did a program that adults are having a hard time making friends.
Yeah.
So to actually learn how to network and enjoy it is what usually is not comfortable for most people. But,
Do you think COVID set people back a little bit? About, just the natural networking of things and being social or whatever?
Well, I certainly think that because of COVID, we learned how to use other tools, which weren't bad.
Yeah.
But it left us craving for human connection in a much bigger way. That's why what you folks are doing, people love listening to it, because that's what we want. We want to make those connections. We want something deeper than just a handshake, right? It's like a relationship. And most people don't realize that I have a podcast, Network Equals Net Worth, and it is not about money.
Right.
It is the relationships. If you think about it, because you two likely have pretty phenomenal networks, okay? It is those of us that had that support system that got through COVID, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I reached out to people that would likely have never given me the time of day during COVID, and they wanted to talk.
Seriously, yeah.
And then now that, the world is opening up, I think that for many people, they're out of the habit, and it's like anything else. If you're out of the habit, it's a little harder to get back into the habit.
It's interesting what you say there, because where a lot of people most people really took the time to kind of recoil and, go, the world's closing down, so let's just close down and whatever. You actually saw it as an opportunity to take advantage of, no one's doing this, so why don't I just be the one to do it?
Well, I don't think I was the only one, but
but still, you were one of the people that did, where 90% of the people were not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm the queen of little things. That's how I built any business that I've ever had. And so a person a long time ago built $1 million business before COVID, but sitting on his butt back home, reaching out to people on social media, because he really wasn't a person that enjoyed networking. And so he said to me, Dalene, just make one new connection a day. And so I've done that over the years. And literally, I do it every day, one new connection. I'm looking for, when was the last time you updated your profiles? I'm looking for a human connection. A lot of people on their social media, they share things, but they don't really share who they are.
Right.
And when you can find a human connection, I believe business will happen organically.
So it's a twofold question, I guess, but how do you reach out to people? How do you make a connection every day? And how do you make sure it's authentic?
Okay. Well, first of all, if they don't have a picture,
okay,
right? Are they posting?
Right.
If they, I'm amazed at how many people have a profile and don't bother doing it, don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
But those that are out there, liking, sharing, commenting, don't just do the like button. People fall in love with the like button. If you really admire somebody, like, share, comment, say at least 5 words.
Yeah.
because you're now in the algorithms, and
Yeah.
people are going to start noticing you. But what I like to do is go in and compliment somebody,
Yeah.
because most of us, especially when you're self-employed, somebody's not patting you on the back.
Yeah, and we've said this a couple times on our show where we've said like people don't quite realize that liking, sharing, commenting is digital currency that is free.
I know.
To give to business people and all that. Like, a like, a share, and a comment on this, say when this post goes up on socials, it costs someone maybe 5 seconds of their life.
Yep.
And helps reach a bunch of other people, right? So it's a great thing.
Well, and your wonderful podcast on human trafficking, I have shared every time I see that going around.
I noticed that. Yeah,
because exactly what you've nailed it. Okay, people will like it, and you want to go winking in the dark. Okay, like, share, comment, and if you're going to comment 5 words or more, but do it in the way of a question. Hey, what do you think of this? Isn't this terrific? What do you think?
Right.
And that not only keeps it back in the algorithms, which supports the person who took the trouble to make that, but you're now in the algorithms. Mm-hmm. Okay? Give you an example, because we closed on BNI and Donna Major-Smith, who's the new executive director of BNI Maritimes, who's going to do an amazing job. I posted before I passed on to her that, and we're up to 10,000. And that was a week ago Monday. And people are constantly...
That was 10,000 members? Is that what you said?
10,000 people that have commented.
Oh, commented. Oh, wow.
Well,
okay.
not 10,000, but because there's enough people
Impressions
commenting on
and
it.
stuff, yeah.
Exactly. It
Yes.
keeps going and going and going.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so this is where I go in, and anybody that did that, I do say thank you.
Yeah.
That's the extra step that makes all the difference in the world.
100% it does. I appreciate. Thank you so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's rewind a little bit, because we will come back to explore that.
Yeah,
but let's rewind a little bit and let's go back to...
Yeah. So we'll go back, where were you at 20 or 40 years ago? Like, how did this all start?
Well, my parents, my dad was an officer in the Navy. My mom, stay-at-home mom, 9 children. She could have been a brain surgeon, and she would have had 3 nannies in order to keep up. But she was very resourceful. We had a beautiful Cape Cod house set back off the road, and there was a barn at the end of our very long driveway, and that was my mother's sanity. She opened a handcraft shop called the Killick, which is a wooden anchor, very familiar here in Atlantic Canada, and we would be read the riot act that when a person would pull in the driveway, my mother would run out to the barn to wait on them. And she would say when she left the house, if any of you come out before that car leaves the driveway, you do not get a treat. And so, as the car is making it to the end of the driveway, we're all running, right? I'm the oldest of 7, so the mantra I grew up with, set an example, you have 6 younger sisters.
Oh, yeah.
So as we all got older, we were encouraged to make things, and we would take turns working in the shop, and my mom gave us a little percentage of what she sold.
Oh, nice.
And so she was very resourceful. Also, she would only sell handmade crafts.
So she really instilled that entrepreneurship in you early, eh?
Well, here's the interesting part. My dad, go to school, get a good education,
Yeah.
and work for the government. My mother, she wanted her 7 daughters. The mantra I grew up with my dad was, I'm not paying for your weddings.
Right.
Just so you understand really early on, not paying for your weddings. My mother wanted her daughters to not be dependent on a man.
Yeah.
And I have 2 older brothers as well. But that we really should have aspired to more. Now, luckily, I grew up with a mentality that was not, money doesn't grow on trees or things like that, or we may not be rich, but we're honest. We did not hear that.
Right.
It was a matter of, if you wanted extra money, we got a weekly allowance. That was the only good part about getting older. Your allowance got bigger. But other than the allowance, a list on the inside of a cupboard door that if you wanted more money, right, that's what you needed to do. Now imagine that many people. Luckily, we had a really nice big house. We had a couple of bathrooms back in the day when most people only had one. Right. And it was, you want to make extra money? Clean the bathroom. It's where you made the most, right?
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, so there was value, okay, on
Yeah.
per
So you
room.
saw your mother in the driveway, so she's obviously an avid networker, people coming and going, right?
And met people all over the world. She was brilliant
Yeah.
in that aspect. And she used to say, only do this to get back to school clothes and Christmas.
Right.
So at the time, Fisherman knit sweaters, they're still very popular.
Yep.
We were always looking for something else we could do. So my job that I took on was knitting Fisherman knit sweaters. And if you can believe it, in one summer, I likely knit more than 40.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And my mom kept letters of all these people that were so thankful that I'd made them beautiful sweaters.
Yeah.
Now, it was a million years ago, guys. I sold them for $30 a pop. I was
My
making
gosh.
big money.
Back then, it would have been, good money.
how old were you
$30
then, do
a
you
pop,
think?
yeah.
Oh, I was likely 12 or 13 at the
Oh,
time.
my gosh.
Okay.
So $30 a pop is good
Was
cash,
You're
yeah.
darn right. Plus,
Yeah.
I could babysit and have a dual source of income.
Yeah.
Because I could babysit and knit sweaters, or I would
At the
work
same
in the gift
time.
shop and knit sweaters. But I think the most wonderful memory was he had to have been about 6'4". I had to stand on a ladder to measure him. He was the conductor of the New York Philharmonic Orchestra. I have never seen arms that big.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the
Right.
guy was massive, and you could just, I could vision him performing, and he said, "Can you make the sleeves long enough that you could roll back the cuffs?" And you know why he wanted to do that? Because there was nothing he ever bought that could roll back the cuffs, and could you make it extra long?
Right.
He was just amazing.
Now, were you different from your other siblings in the fact that you had this entrepreneurism spirit, or were all your siblings like that, or how
we
did that work?
all were pretty crafty.
Okay.
So we all made something. But I would say likely I was the most committed because,
Sounds like it.
yeah, well, that being able to have that extra source of income to pay for the things that you wanted to. So yes, but we were all pretty resourceful and fortunately have done pretty well in life. But what's really kind of neat is as you see the next generation, them sort of taking on the spirit. I have a nephew, he's a civil engineer, and he's soon going to retire, he's military. And so he's taken up a wood crafting business, and he's called
cool.
it the Killick. And
wow.
he just creates beautiful works of art. My mom did pen and ink sketches, which she sold in the shop. And one of my sisters just started to do beautiful watercolors. So I know my mom is very happy.
Where did you go grow up again? What
Glen
community?
Margaret?
Glen Margaret.
Yeah,
On the
Peggy's
road
Cove.
to Peggy's Cove.
On the road to Peggy's Cove.
Yes.
Wow.
And we would have all likely, at one time or another, worked at Peggy's Cove because that was where you made the big bucks in the
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the truth, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
even bigger now, obviously, like with
Yeah.
all the stuff that it's grown there, so
Yeah.
really good. So that's awesome. Like, yeah, it's cool to hear what got people started.
Yes.
And see where they kind of went from there. But, as you got older and you became an adult,
Yep.
what was the first job you jumped into kind of
Well,
thing?
I studied retail merchandising after high school.
Okay.
I had spent part of my youth growing up in Ottawa, so I skipped a grade. So I actually finished high school at 16.
Okay.
Okay. And so I took a 2-year retail merchandising course. My first job was as Sears at the management training program, but my hubby took a job with the Coast Guard. So we moved to Sydney.
You said hubby. So when did you meet your hubby? How young?
I met him when I was 17, and I married him when I was 18.
Oh, wow.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh, wow. So you've been together a long time. That's good.
So
yeah.
13, you started your own business. You were married at 17?
18.
18, sorry. You were like...
You got life done
You have to
early.
remember,
Yeah.
I had 6
move
younger
fast.
sisters.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Well, then watch. He's about 8 years older, which means we're about the same level. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So the Coast Guard College in Sydney was not necessarily my favorite place to live.
Sure.
But then he took a job in Ottawa to eventually work at a place called Transport Canada Training Institute.
Okay.
So I got to work at the newsstand. I ran that at the Chateau Laurier Hotel.
Okay.
And let me tell you, that was an experience in itself. That was open 365 days of the year from 6 in the morning until about midnight.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so all the politicians at that time would have stayed at the Chateau Laurier. They got a really great rate. And so royalty, Queen Elizabeth waved to me.
Whoa.
Donald Sutherland, Margaret Trudeau. I mean, you name it. Anybody that was on the Hill usually was in there. The part that I laughed the most, or one of the things that was kind of fun, I was official supplier of tobacco and news to the Governor General and the Prime Minister.
Oh, no way.
And every morning, 2 RCMP officers would come in to get the Prime Minister's newspapers. And I used to laugh and go, because I'm in there, because if not, one of my staff, and you have to stuff the
Who was
newspapers
Prime Minister
with
at that
stuff.
time?
Oh, that was a long time ago, Pierre Trudeau.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just as he was going out. But
Cool.
I used to laugh and go, wonder how much it cost to have 2 RCMP officers deliver his newspapers. That's really interesting, guys. And they would just say, just give us the papers to leave. And I'd say, wow, bodyguards, isn't that great? But anyway, yeah, lots of celebrities. It was hilarious. The other part that was so neat was equal opportunity employer before Pride and things like that came into being. My whole staff was gay, and we had the best time.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been an ally for the queer community forever.
Yeah.
But we had, it was just a really fun place. You never know who was going to walk through the door, right?
Would you say that was like, I mean, obviously you had early on with your mother being the entrepreneur and the amount of people that would stop through, but would you say that really kind of put the power of networking into hyperdrive? Because that would seem like a huge opportunity to really kind of...
Well, they're to be willing to talk to people.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting part. We had glass cases in the handcraft shop. As long as I stood behind that counter, I was confident.
Mm-hmm.
If you took me outside of that,
You
total
melted?
fear.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one thing that if somebody's been an employee for a long time, and then you become a person who is now self-employed, the whole idea of you selling yourself sometimes stops people. Yeah.
So did you have any mentors like out there now? Like so you're out there in this part of the world. You're now. Like, what was the trajectory that got you to this start where you became an avid networker?
During retail merchandising, when I took that program, the woman who was one of the instructors had gone to a very famous school in Boston, merchandising. So I sort of figured she really gave us a head start. Sears management program, there was a person there, but I wasn't there that long because we moved. Sydney, I worked for a businessman. He was a character.
Yeah.
Well, in his favorite line, if you could only learn to think like a man, Dalene, you'd be perfect.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, really. Yeah, the things that...
That won't work today. I don't think.
Well, it
I won't
still
get you very far.
happens, likely. Yeah. But then the United Cigar Store had a management training program as well, and that would have been likely one of their top places in Canada. I mean, we had a cigar humidor second to none. And again, I got invited to the Governor General's garden party, the PM garden, the holiday things.
Right.
So you kind of go, I wasn't very old at the time, but you kind of go, wow.
Yeah, but you got yourself in all the right rooms, right?
Well,
from a networking perspective, and then other people are probably interested and they want to see you, right, or talk to you.
How many politicians we would get to talk to on a daily basis? Oh, you're from Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
This is my riding. And I remember at the time thinking, what's a riding? But anyway, I'm not political. But.
It's interesting because it kind of brings me back, and we can talk about this later, but Mike and I recently did a guest speaking event at one of your events, and I remember saying at that event to people who were asking some questions is making sure that you're always, get yourself into the right rooms, the rooms where there's important people that you can network with and things like that. And that's what you did. You got yourself in the right room.
Well,
right?
and because I was behind the counter, I was confident, right? That running, as the manager, I want to speak to the manager. You come in and, again, I don't care whether you're the deputy prime minister, what can I do for you?
Yeah. Right, yeah.
So I think it was I was very naive at the time, but certainly had what some used to say is chutzpah. And that I was used to talking to people in my comfort zone.
This episode is brought to you by Camilla Najat with Exit Realty Metro.
Camilla Najat is an experienced real estate agent who prides herself in finding the perfect home for her clients. Camilla can help you with a comparative market analysis to help determine the value of your home if you're planning on selling, or help you determine the going rate for the neighborhood you're moving into. She can also work with you at your pace.
You can reach Camilla by calling 902-880-8429 or email camilla@exitmetro.ca.
Also, you can find her on Facebook at Camilla Najat, Exit Realty Metro.
Right.
So how do you transition the work that you were doing and all of a sudden come to BNI? It's like, how did BNI happen?
Well, there was a big business in between there.
Let's go
okay.
back to, let's
Yeah.
go
Do
to the
that.
big business.
Yeah, let's go to the big
Well,
business.
first, I would love to tell you about my second job after.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. We got no problem.
I started to work for a textile company. I love to make things, to
Yes.
sew.
Yeah.
And so I was manager of a big store on Spark Street in Ottawa. But very quickly, they offered me a job as a buyer for their head office in
okay.
Montreal. Excuse me, edit that. And so this company, it was interesting. At that time, the textile business were a lot of people from concentration camps. A lot of
Okay. Wow.
Austrian, Hungarian, a big Jewish population. And so I learned some things that, touched my heart. These people, many of them still were very positive about life, but a lot of them were very angry, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Okay? But it was a very kind of closed. If you weren't part of the Jewish community, you weren't really in. So the two fellows that I worked with were known as the biggest crooks in the business.
No way.
Oh way. So twice a year we got to go to Europe. Myself and another woman were buyers. My department was wool and cotton. She's not part of the Jewish community, but she'd been a refugee from the war.
Okay.
And so her office, I had to walk by her office every day. She didn't have somebody crying by 9 o'clock in the morning. She wasn't happy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so very quickly, every day you walk by that, you go, I don't want to do this. I love the job, though. That was
Yeah.
the sad part.
Yeah.
And so a supplier one day said to me, you're just like Gertrude. And I could never play poker. It was like somebody slapped me across the face.
Wow.
And he said, Dalene, I mean it as a compliment. It was like, oh, I'm not here. That's,
Yeah.
One of our trips to Europe, we would make a thing through Austria, Switzerland. I mean, the fabrics and everything. So to understand the business, the designers of fabric, much like clothing designers, high couture, as long as you have one repeat of the pattern, they can make a replica. So this year
okay.
it might be sold to, Chanel and whatever.
Okay, so they changed like hands of
You would buy
designer? Okay.
you would buy the design of the fabric, you would create it, and then so 2 or 3 years from now you would see it in cheaper fabrics by other designers.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we would go to all of these textile mills because usually they would have stuff that was on special, things that they wouldn't take to the show. We would end up with a really big textile show in Frankfurt. And so the very first time I went there, I was excited. Got to see something called the International Color Council. And so they would I was a babe in the woods. They would say, okay, Dalene, we've got a couple guys who are going to go with you. You go in there, so picture racks and racks of these samples. Put everything you like in the front of a rack and then leave quickly.
Huh.
And the two big guys had big sample cases. And they would go in and steal them.
No way.
Oh, my second trip, I just, I was physically sick because you thought, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, but thank God. I mean, I got to work with Canadian designers. I learned about facelifts. There'd be Rolls Royces parked out of our St. Catherine Street location where all of the beautiful fabrics. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget this woman putting her hand out. She came in with Simon Chang, a big Canadian designer. Yeah. And her face was amazing, but her hand was that of a 90-year-old. And, again, it was kind of like a little bit of an electrical shock because you're thinking, if I ever have a facelift, I'm going to have a head lift. the things that
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh yeah, like yeah. Or somebody coming in and because in the Jewish community you usually have to be buried, and don't quote me on this, like within 24 hours.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
somebody coming in and say, I need a pattern with this color fabric in it. Can you make me a dress in a day? And they go, okay, Jewish funeral. You might want to edit all that out.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I know they sit Shiva, which is the first 7 days and stuff like that. That's probably after the burial. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time.
So what happened to these guys though that were stealing the stuff? Did they get busted?
Well, if they caught them,
They never got caught.
well, they were big.
Yeah.
They had big sample cases. And, I mean, after a while it was kind of like, the people that they knew were
Yeah.
usually standing outside the door. So if they got to look at them, they go, you with them? And then they go, okay, Dalene, still pick it out. And I'm thinking, I don't want to pick it out. I just want to go home. But anyway, yeah.
It's great. Great story.
So
Then,
not exactly buyer trips.
well, yeah. And then Joe took a job back, and we wanted to come home. And Montreal, it was the end of it, but the FLQ and billboards blowing up.
Of
and
course, yeah.
I don't speak French. We just, it was more we wanted to go home. My father-in-law had been top sales in Canada for National Cash Register for many years, even though he just had Halifax North, all the way to Cape Breton. And he said, when I met Joe, he said, I've always told Joe he needs to have a business. He'll never have a business, but you will, Dalene. So when we moved back from Montreal, we started to look because we knew we were coming home. And we looked into a couple of franchises. We could have had maybe a McDonald's in Corner Brook or Port Hawkesbury. I had a friend that had a Tim Hortons. She said, you do not want to be a day-old donut. And the big thing about franchises, they didn't have Baskin-Robbins. When we lived in Ottawa, we lived next door to a Baskin-Robbins. My husband would have eaten all the profit, like all the profit.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
So because I had experience in tourism, we looked into purchasing a small convenience store that had quite a big property, and we thought we could turn that into something. We actually put an offer in on it. My husband's like, please don't buy it. Please don't buy it. Because we had a sailboat, and he loved to fly fish for salmon, and he said, you want to open that business? Don't expect any help from me. And the more I thought about it, because when you work in tourism,
Right.
you're giving up the best part of what
Of 100%,
living here.
yeah.
And so a friend of mine who had a very successful retail job in Toronto, Mary Kay had just come to Canada, had been here about not even 3 years. And she said, Dalene, I gave up my job and I'm driving a pink Cadillac. And I remember thinking, I didn't have a license. That'd make it a nice lawn ornament. Anyway, so she said, why don't you give it a try? And honest to God, I think Joe, my husband, said, just give it a year. Anything would have been better than owning that tourism business.
okay.
And sure enough, within the year, I was making six figures and drove a pink Cadillac. I did not have a driver's license, but they delivered it anyway. Yeah.
So you had a pink Cadillac, just couldn't drive it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's nothing wrong with that.
So what was this? So when was this Mary Kay thing? What year was
In
that?
the early 80s.
Early 80s. So
Yeah,
was
mid-80s.
this like when it was first popping off? Because this has been around for decades now.
Well,
I don't know
I
if it
think
still is.
65 years now, but
Yeah.
it had only just come to Canada. Mary Kay was first in the United States, second Australia, then third franchise was Canada.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I knew nothing about skincare, color cosmetics, but they said they'd train me and I was willing to learn. And because I didn't drive a car, I took the bus or rode it on my bicycle. I was thinner then too. And Mary Kay trains you, right? And luckily, Mary Kay Ash, the founder of the company, was still active enough that I was mentored by her personally.
Oh, wow.
cool.
Okay.
And her very best friend is Dalene White, except in Dallas they call her Dalene.
Yeah.
And so Mary Kay, it was the first time I'd ever seen the same spelling of my name.
Have they ever made a movie about Mary Kay?
They have, yeah.
They have, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's an extraordinary story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, listen,
Yeah.
to be in that woman's presence, yeah, she was a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Is Mary Kay still a big
No.
thing?
Oh, Mary Kay, yeah. Number 9 direct sales globally, I think.
Still,
Wow.
So people
yeah.
are still doing
Because
it.
there's so many things like that now, right?
Come and go.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's a real opportunity, it'll hang around.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so they've been able to adjust as they go into markets. Asia's a very big one, South America, 33 countries. I had 5 global markets that I worked in.
Wow.
But Mary Kay's best friend, her name was Dalene White,
Yeah.
spelled the same way as me. And so I knew Mary Kay well enough that she said, "You're my Canadian Dalene." My mother hated it that that they didn't say my name the same way she thought it would. So yeah, the woman was just incredible. She really had a presence. And when you do really well in life, they take you through kitchens. They take the celebrities. You don't see the pretty parts of the hotel. They take you the back way. And so I've been in a lot of kitchens with Mary Kay Ash over the years in a lot of different places. Been to her home. I remember she moved into a big house, the pink house she called it, and got invited to a housewarming party with her. Yeah, she really was amazing. So that was just as the internet was really starting to happen. So I would have built that business because once I left that job and had to hand out a business card to somebody, it was like, I'd rather go in the bathroom and throw up.
Yeah.
So I learned very quickly how to make sure I would get referrals. And when you build the relationship, business happens organically. But there are some people who are just natural connectors. And when you can find those people, treat them like gold.
Yeah.
So every year, about 20 people were likely could provide 30 to 40% of my new business every year. So when people are doing that,
That's huge.
oh yeah. But what they would refer to as social capital today is when you're providing value to people. 3 things I said to people at every interaction. Thank you so much for your business. I sure hope you know how much I appreciate you.
Yes.
Second, the greatest compliment you can pay me is referrals.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. If you don't say that to people, they don't necessarily know. Third, if ever I can help you personally or professionally, please reach out. I know a lot of people that I trust.
Yeah.
And so I'd sold that business that's coming up to 10 years the end of this year, 2025. About 3 years ago, a woman called me, and she said, Dalene, I was going to press Google. Then she said, I'm going to try your phone number. 7 years. She remembered my phone number.
Oh, no way.
Okay. She called me. I knew her mom. I knew her. I knew her kids. And she said, first we had a nice catch up. And she said at the end, I was going to press Google, but I need 3 things. Sure enough, I could make 3 introductions. Why press Google? Call Dalene. Most people are not willing to build the relationship, to take that investment of time. See, what you folks are building 20 years from now, people are going to love it as much, if not more.
No,
Because
yeah,
what
so
you're
thank
doing.
you. Yeah.
Thank you. I hope so.
But I mean, to you though, to have this insight, to see BNI, and I mean, I've seen you in action. I've seen you in action in various roles, like through my professional life. So I can go back 10 years when I was working for another company, and I met you, and I met you 10 years later working for a different company. And I mean, what's consistent is there's a few things that you have. So one of them is authenticity, right? You're a delightful person to talk to. So even though I probably genuinely, I'm not one that likes to get out of my own skin a lot. So there's people probably listening to this and say, I'm not a great networker. Well, you're hearing one right now. Like, I don't really love going out and interacting a whole lot. But someone like you really gets me out and gets me talking and gets me chatting, and gets me comfortable, right? You're a real enabler for conversation, which I think is just, which I think is what value you provide. You're really great at that, and I think that's like what led you to this BNI moment where you found this company and just let us know how you got there to BNI.
Well, when I first started my Mary Kay business, I was a BNI member.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was interesting. It was a lot of older gentlemen.
Yep.
There weren't many women in the group. But let me tell you, I learned a lifetime of business skills within, let's say, a couple of short years. So it was like a mastermind group, business brains, you name it. And that's really what B&I is all about. And so going in there as a fairly new person, my business was gaining momentum. But when you reach that imposter syndrome, holy crap, what am I going to do next? And that's where they really helped me.
Right.
Okay. So that within about 2 years, my business had quadrupled. And I relate that to what B&I was all about. And if the old guys hadn't kept hitting on me, I likely would have stayed a B&I member a lot longer. Yeah. I mean, when you drive a pink Cadillac, people say some pretty wild
Oh, that's
things.
probably true.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Amazing.
Well, I remember going on a Newfoundland ferry once. We were the last car on. What's next to me is an 18-wheeler full of live chickens.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I thought, last one on, I'll be the first one off. And we get up there, and we're going up the stairs of the elevator to where we're going on the Newfoundland ferry. And all these guys are going, what room are you in? Because you didn't get that pink Cadillac for selling makeup. And you kind of go,
man.
I am now going to lock myself in a room somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But when we got up the next morning, joke was on us, my friend and I, we go down and, the smell of chicken poke was just awful. And my car on the left-hand side, big white, big pink Cadillac, white leather top, white leather interior, chicken shit and feathers. And there is not, at that time, not a car wash till Stephenville.
Yeah.
Right? And people would just point and laugh. Right? I looked like Angora on the left-hand side.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh. So you were a member of B&I. So when did you take over B&I and become supreme leader?
Yeah. Well, based on the business that I built with Mary Kay Cosmetics in a morphine-induced passing a kidney stone, when they tell you not to make any major decisions, I happen to say to my husband,
Best time to make a decision. People tell you not to?
they tell you not to sign any papers. I said, you know what, I should retire. And Joe just took his finger and said, you said it. And because I had a big enough business, Mary Kay's still paying me, right?
Right.
He said, okay, well, let's try something new. And he said, yeah. So I fooled around at a couple of things. But then somebody had brought B&I back here. It hadn't been here for about a dozen years. And I said, I think I'd like to try that. And my husband was on board, and we've had a great time doing it. Just amazing people. B&I has 7 core values, but the number one is givers gain. And for anybody who goes to a networking event, most people, fear, flight, or freeze. You're normal if you feel uncomfortable walking into a room. That's not a person's comfort zone. It was not mine in the beginning, but I learned how to do things better. That, again, I love to see how it has helped people. We've only had the franchise has only been back here about 6 years, and we've already closed $3 or $4 million in new business among B&I members.
So how do you calculate that new business? You just say from the referral programs, you
Yes.
kind of score what the value of the bar?
Well, or if I give you a referral, you're the only one who knows what's in that referral. It's all anonymous, right? If it turns into business, you would thank me to a dollar amount, but no, it's all anonymous who it came from. So odds are if you gave me a referral and I would say, okay, Mike, thank you very much for the referral. Here's the status of what it is, because you want to know if it's a good referral. And when that number shows up, sometimes there's a lot of money that it's like, so it worked out. Yes, thank you very much.
Perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
How many groups are set up across the Maritimes?
There's never been anything in Newfoundland, never been anything in PEI. We have a couple started in New Brunswick, and we have a bunch here in Nova Scotia we're working on. The new owner is the South Shore, the Valley, Cape Breton, Truro. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's only, think of a group of 20 or more business professionals, only one seat per profession.
Yeah.
So there's only one realtor, only one mortgage broker. So
That's
when
right.
it cuts out the competition, you build
You can
a
speak
real
freely that
camaraderie.
way too,
Oh,
right? Like
totally.
if if you're coming to this group with your struggles or, you know, the some of your wins and the things that you're doing to win, you don't exactly want to be feeding your struggles and your wins to someone who you're competing against either.
Well,
So-
and here's another way of looking at that many times we become kind of narrow in our expertise. You know, you're in one particular field, but I'll tell you, when you understand, you know, the insurance business, you understand what it takes to buy or sell a house, or that a mortgage, your interest rate is not the only thing, okay? That you learn so much more about so many more people, which again, when that client is looking for help, and you could say, look, if you ever need something, reach out. And you can actually make an introduction to them. And because it's somebody that you see, B&I is a commitment of time and money. You meet weekly and you pay a membership fee.
Right.
You don't pay any commissions. But the fact that if that person you know, like, and trust, that client that's now meeting with them, because there's a level of trust, the sales funnel fills and closes faster.
How do you, because just given the fact that you're such a central point for a lot of people, how do you manage referring business to people when, say, you know so many people in the same industry? Well,
I'm so glad you mentioned that. That you either try to pass it along or matchmake. What's this person, right? You know, let's say realtor. There's some people who love to do first-time home buyers. So if this isn't somebody who's ever bought a house, who's the person that would likely match the personality as well?
Right.
So you play a little bit of matchmaking, yeah.
A little bit. Cool.
I have a rule of 2. It's on like the Sith. If you're anything like Star Wars, I have the rule of 2. I always try to have 2 people. And then, again, it's matchmaking, but I just try not to have like 10 people. I just have like 2 people. So it's like 2 lawyers, 2 real estate agents, 2 accountants, 2 mortgage brokers, whatever.
So here's the thing that I would say back to you, Matt.
Yeah.
Are they sending referrals to you?
Yeah, that's an important part to it. That's true. If it's reciprocal. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That needs to also be that way too.
Yeah. And that speaks back to, there are some people who are just natural connectors.
Right.
Not that other people can't be, but you at least have to let them know that you appreciate their support. I see so many times people with very close connections, like, you know, if you've got siblings, have you really looked at who their connections are? Do they really know how they can help you? They don't mean to piss you off.
Yeah.
But if you have not made it clear that, yes, I would appreciate this from you, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about people that just seem unattracted by that whole concept? No, and I'm just throwing that out there just to ask you, like, because I'm sure some people probably just heard what you just said and said, ugh, I don't want to be doing that. I don't want to be asking my brothers and my sisters.
I didn't say ask.
Yeah.
I said at least inform, because here's the thing. Would you be pissed if they passed the business that could go to you to someone else?
Right.
That's a better way to look at it. Yeah.
Okay?
Right. Yeah.
Because I just find we miss our warm connections a lot.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sure we do.
And you don't have to offer incentives. You know, if it's somebody who cares about you, odds are they would.
Right.
But if you never tell them, right? And that doesn't mean that, you know, if you know them well enough, you could cuff them up the side of the head or something. But, or pour the beer on their head. No. Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So now you've sold B&I. So you are...
Well, I'm going to be a B&I member forever.
Yes, you said you're going to be a B&I member, but now you're not. It's not your driving force necessarily anymore.
That's why I opened networking naturally.
Yes.
Because what I have found is, here's a story. I would drive by a group of high school students waiting for a bus. There was usually 15 or 20 of them, and I drove by that bus stop a lot. And they're all doing this on their phone.
Yep.
They're likely talking to each other on their phone. There's no eye contact. They don't know how to make a phone call. They sleep with the damn things, but they don't really know how to pick it up and actually have a conversation.
True. No, that's true.
And then there's people, here's the other thing I find. People get busy, they stop networking. Okay?
Yep.
That
That's
if
true.
you can, instead of calling it networking, which automatically fear, vomiting, anxiety, if you just said, what if I made one new connection a day? Then suddenly, here's
Sounds
the
a
other
lot
part.
easier.
A lot of conferences today, a lot of networking events, and I usually try to do this with any of mine, that before you go to a networking event, see if you can see the registration list. If you can see the registration list, I just look at the people, look at the name, look at them on LinkedIn, and go, okay, they got a picture, they're posting, hey, I'm going to this event. Do you want to meet there?
Right. Okay.
Suddenly going to that event now isn't quite as intimidating. And I might reach out to 4, 5, 6. I might not reach out to 20. They're not all going to be there. But reach out to enough that you could have that conversation with a few people. And those that didn't, we're still connected. We're still,
So networking naturally. So I don't want to miss that
Yeah.
what you just said, because I had that on my list here to talk to you about. So you started networking naturally, and then you talked about the younger folks on their phones.
Yep.
So did you create this for younger people to have to like kind of get some inroads into networking? This episode is brought to you by Strategy Up. Strategy Up is a business consulting firm led by Mark Zerka, who has over 20 years' experience in building commercial strategies that will up your game, organize your teams, increase your productivity, and grow your business.
Whether you're a construction company looking to grow your revenue or a busy restaurant owner just trying to keep the doors open, Strategy Up can help. Strategy Up's boutique-style consultations will help you improve business process across nearly any industry.
Being a successful entrepreneur does not mean you have to be an expert in everything. Strategy Up specializes in building a relationship with you. Once pain points in the business are realized, Strategy Up will introduce process and technology that will power up your game to the next level.
A successful business requires investment. Your next step towards growth starts now. Email info@mystrategyup.com for a free business discovery call. Up your game with Strategy Up.
think about this from an CBC did another program on. By the time you're 28 years old, you'll know the bulk of people. You will know your whole life.
Right.
Now, you and the three of us here, we meet 50 people a week likely.
Yeah.
If not more. But if we went back to everybody in high school and
Right.
kept in touch with as many of them as possible, because 20 years from now, all the difference in the world. Post-secondary education, you could be in a class with 200 people. Are you connecting with them? Okay? So that instead of going narrow, you're going wide. And then if you are in one industry, think of that industry, even if you're an employee, who would that client see before? Who would that client see after?
Right.
Right.
Okay? So that you can be a complement to that. So if, let's say, real estate, a realtor, a mortgage broker, financial services person, insurance person, they all deal with a clientele in a complementary, not competitive way. And just like you said, Matt, a couple in each of those.
Yeah.
So if each of them have 500 by only making 3 connections on LinkedIn to work with, you're now up to 2,000 connections.
Right.
Okay? You want to multiply. You picture one new connection a day, 5 days a week. That's 20 a month. Over the run of 6 months, that's 120. If we do 80-20, that could be 24 new clients. But if I say to people, go out and get 24 new clients. So it's really how I built my business. So I do
Right.
small group coaching, but also in my years in Mary Kay, once you're a top director, they didn't bring in outside speakers. The only way you ever got to be a trainer, a speaker, whatever it was, you had to prove yourself with the company.
Right.
Credit back to you. I mean,
Yep.
sorry to interrupt, but like the networking naturally. Now, when we were there, I noticed, there's a lot of folks, a lot of newcomers to our country.
Yep.
A lot of people that were just getting into the job market. You were helping these people out. You were giving them their first kind of dose of a networking event. I think a lot of people might have only done this 5 or 6 times before in their lives, or maybe it was the first time.
Well, then we have a lot of people. I love the library events because they come back because they're interested. But yeah, I'm a big believer in, because I've reached the point in life where we are an aging population. Number one, what can I give back? But number two, if we're not making these people feel welcome, they're not going to stay. We're
Right.
not in a good
love that.
place. Okay. More important, are we making them feel, because we're cliquey.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we making them feel welcome enough? Are we doing the extra little bit? I mean, think about this. We spent a total of 23 years, my parents, on the road to Peggy's Cove, small, first in French Village and then in Glen Margaret. They raised 9 children there. Only 3 of the 9 were not born in Nova Scotia. The rest of us all were. So what people locally would say, right? Oh, Dalene, you're not from here. My God, I was born here. No, you're from away.
Wow.
Even though we were a big part of the community.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what we deal with here. The other thing I love about anybody that comes here, even if it's from another province, they see the opportunities we're missing.
That's true.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
100%.
And that's what I love. What you guys are doing is you're capturing some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try to get different people's perspectives and just listen to what they have to say.
Yeah. What I really feel badly for anybody who comes here in the middle of the winter if they've left a warm country. Like, honest, the weather gets better.
3 months of the year,
you know what, though?
it's paradise.
You know what, though? That being said, I work with a few people that come from a warm country, talking to them, and they love the winter. They love it. They love snow because they never seen it before, and then they came in and they just fell in love with it. And I'm sitting here going, "You're nuts."
Yeah, exactly.
But great for you that you love it.
Well,
right?
or change of season, yes.
Yes,
Matt.
yeah. So, but some of them legit love snow, and I'm just kind of like, I would be okay if I never saw it again.
Okay, exactly.
But you know,
Yay for global warming.
yeah. It's funny. I say that. My wife's like, "Stop saying that," because like I don't necessarily I'm obviously for supporting like improvements in the climate and all that stuff, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, yeah, all right, I'm okay if we didn't get snow anymore, kind of thing.
Well, I have a friend. He's a tattoo artist. He moved here from Edmonton, and so when he moved, he said, "Dalene, I need to get a plug-in for my car." And if you've ever been to Grand Prairie, Dawson, Port St. John, okay. I mean, even parking meters have plug-ins.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
said, "You need rubber boots."
Yeah.
And he said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "When you know you're a Maritimers when you buy a pair of rubber boots, you do not need a block heater."
Nope.
And he's like, "But there's one in my car." I said, "Well, maybe somebody
Take
will
it out.
find you a plug." But, so the other day, not too long ago, he said to me, "Okay, I have rubber boots." I said, "Yay, you're one of us."
I started dating my wife 15 years ago, so I was early mid 20s when I started dating my wife, and that was the first time I started spending a lot of time in Quebec, and I noticed that a lot of cars were plugged in, and I was just kind of like, "What the hell is this?" And she was like, "Well, plug the car in so that the battery doesn't freeze up," and I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And then now it's so when people complain about winters and stuff like that, my wife, who lives here now, obviously, she's like, "Every winter I'm here is the best winter I've ever had." So it's all perspective.
Exactly.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got to get into our 10 questions. But
Let's get
before
into
we
it.
do, I just got one question for you, just on the networking tip. I mean, where do you see the future of professional networking heading, especially in Atlantic Canada? Where do you think it's going to go?
Well, my mission is to teach people that any room you're in that's got more than 1 or 2 people, it's an opportunity. Are you open to opportunity? Are you curious about the person in front of you? And you're not there to sell. You're not going to sell at a networking event. You're going to find a human connection and see if you like them first, which will eliminate many of your headaches when you want to shoot a customer.
Fair enough. It's like, speed dating is what it's looking at. Speed dating your business. So, all right, let's get into our 10 questions. We each have 5. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Go ahead, Matt.
You want me to start? All right, cool. Yeah. All right, so question number 1. So, what's the book title of your life?
Are you allergic to networking?
Okay, I like that.
Or richness in my roots?
Are you allergic to networking? I like the first one.
I like that. I like, are you allergic to networking? That would catch people's attention. Yeah, I like it. All right, number 2, over to Mike.
All right. If networking was an animal, okay, what animal would you be and why? So a bunch of animals in a room, of the animal kingdom. What would Dalene be?
I have to think about that for a minute. Maybe a rabbit.
Okay.
Cute.
Why'd you pick rabbit?
They can multiply.
Hey, that's good.
Grow your network.
Yeah, that's
But
good.
they're also cute and cuddly.
There you go.
That's a great answer.
Perfect.
All right.
What do you?
Next question. So, if you could pick entrance music like a WWE wrestler, what song would you pick for your entrance music?
Oh, shoot. Just 1 second. I
it's
love anything from Mamma Mia. What would work? Something from Mamma Mia. I Have a Dream.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
I'm
you
not
don't have
familiar
a
with
dream?
Mamma Mia. I got to be honest with you. I've never
You
seen
got it. Well,
No?
why? They should never have gotten paid for doing that movie. They
No?
had too much friggin' fun.
All right. Question number 4 over to Mike.
Okay. Do you believe in luck, or do you think we create our own opportunities through connection?
The smarter I work, the luckier I get.
You know what? That's good advice. And that was advice that was also given to me a long time ago by a professional golfer, like a PGA golfer. I said, asked what Tiger Woods, and I was like, do you think he's lucky or do you think he's good? And he said, the funny thing about him is he works so hard that on the days that he's good, and the days that he's not good, he's lucky.
Well, but you have to remember, how old was he when his dad put a golf club in his...
100%.
So if you've read any of Malcolm Gladwell's books, Outliers, he put in more than his 10,000 hours.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Overnight success only takes 15 years.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Overnight success takes 15 years. There you go. I like it. All right, so next question. So what is the top place in the world to visit on your bucket list?
Greece.
Greece, okay.
Really? Yeah.
Greece. Although Bali in Indonesia was pretty hard to beat.
Oh, okay.
Every year I earn trips from Mary Kay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Thailand. I ate dinner at the Prince of the
Siam, the Prince of Siam?
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah on the Grand Canal.
Wow.
Oh no, like I've traveled the world in a custom that most people would never.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Very
Yes.
cool.
But yeah, Greece.
All right. Over to you, Mike.
Grace. Okay, so what's the strangest or most unexpected connection that you've ever made that led to something big? So a strange connection that you never thought would, you're a natural networker. It led to something big you never saw coming.
Wow. Well, that's a good one. I met somebody that, in passing, that I ended up going to Poland and opening Mary Kay in Poland when it first happened.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, likely introduced me to 100 people before I ever got there.
Wow.
Yeah, just same thing in passing.
Cool.
All right. Good. Next question. So you're organizing a network event with finger foods. What is the one food that should never be at a networking event?
Anything that needs a fork.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I like that one.
Yeah.
So nothing that includes a fork at a networking event.
Yeah.
I was thinking something stinky, but yeah, that's a good point.
Poutine, not good.
Not good.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like literally finger food,
Yeah. Yeah.
preferably one bite.
Fair enough. Makes sense.
Okay.
Over to you. Second last question.
Yeah. Okay. So if you could host a dinner party with any 3 networkers, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Sam Horn. I just spent a weekend with her in Austin, Texas. If you've never heard of her, her company's called the Intrigue Agency. Brilliant.
Okay.
Brilliant. I would love it if it were Mary Kay Ash again. But she's not here. So Dr. Ivan Meisner, I've met him personally. He was the founder of BNI, and that certainly he is still very active, even though, BNI is no longer technically his company. Who else? 3 people.
Give me a
I'm happy talking to you two.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, well, 2 for 1. But how about give us a historic figure, like somebody
historic
from
figure?
any time, dead or alive? What do you think of that? Would just be really nice to have a networking event with you.
Was it Roosevelt, his wife? What was her name?
Eleanor?
Eleanor Roosevelt.
Eleanor
yeah.
Roosevelt.
Very pro-women.
Yeah, nice, love it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. On to you, Matt.
So it's our last question.
What was it?
Well,
Second last question.
Well, okay, you go then, because
okay.
I have the last question.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I got another one. If someone had a networking spirit guide whispering in their ear at an event, what would it be telling them not to do?
Try to close a sale.
Oh, so don't be
It's a
there
faux
hard
pas.
selling at an event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you sell to somebody if you don't even know them?
Right.
Right? So if you pretend that somebody's got a sign around them that says, make me feel important, like when I would go to a networking event, I'd stand in the corner, I'd pray somebody would talk to me. Well, if you stand in the corner, you don't look friendly.
Right.
And so, after having done everything wrong, I would say, okay, I'm going to go stand by the door. I'll wave to anybody I know. Hi, I'll talk to you later. I'd wait till that person with the deer in the headlights came through the door, and I would say, you look more afraid than me. And they would be, sometimes people would hug me. It's like, oh my God, thank God. And I said, I feel just like you, but now we're together.
I feel like it's a great time to ask you this. Will you buy ad space in this show?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Because we've taken a while now. I think it's gotten to know you. It's a good time to kind of go for the close, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. There you go.
Perfect. Okay, she's in. Awesome. Thanks,
Number
Matt.
one
High
sponsor.
five.
But here's the
High
thing.
five.
I know, like, and trust you. I know what you deliver.
Okay.
So, last question that we have here. So, what's one piece of advice that you were given that you'd like to share with us?
Okay. Be curious.
Be curious.
Yeah, always be curious. Everybody's got a story to tell.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to really listen, not like a brick, but like a sponge,
Yeah.
that you will find the most amazing stories from people. And look at you two. You could write a book right now. I hope that's in the works.
Well, I think we found an amazing story today, and I'm very thankful that you came here
No,
and
exactly.
told us.
It's great. Yeah, you got a great story. I think people find it really interesting. Yes, we kind of would like to write a book at some point, kind of thing. Not necessarily about us, but I think about our experiences with
Oh, yeah.
guests,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like
But-
people like yourself.
Okay, but here's the thing. You write about their story, but then you write your takeaway and you write your takeaway.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly what I have kind of proposed.
Yes.
Like to Matt already. We have a Matt and a Mike section on
Okay.
each
So
guest. Yeah.
if you haven't heard Sam Horn, look her up.
Sam
Okay.
Horn.
Start following her.
Okay.
Cool.
She used to run the Maui Book Publishing Conference. That's where first-time authors could come to Maui. I mean, that would be a great trip.
That-
and
yeah,
actually
sure.
get to sit in front of all of the major publishing houses.
Okay.
And so for 20 years she did that. She would stand at the back of the room, and so these people would have 10 minutes to do a pitch. And she said, so sad and pathetic, she could tell in the first 60 seconds, like if you're 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon and it's every 10 minutes there's a pitch, these
Right.
people are,
You're exhausted.
okay.
Yeah. You're pitched out.
Yeah. But she would say,
This must be her wearing the hat on
Oh, yeah.
LinkedIn. Okay, I'm going to send her a connect request, and we're going to see if she listened to the episode, because she'll connect if she listened. There we go. Sent. All right, we'll see what's up.
okay, she is amazing. I spent a whole weekend there. I've been following her for a while. She lives about 10 minutes from Dr. Ivan Meisner on the same lake,
Oh, okay.
Oh,
lake
yeah?
in Austin, Texas. And so she said, I could tell. So she started another company, the Intrigue Agency. And what she has gone on to do is teach people how to perfect a pitch that gets people to raise their eyebrows. Like if you were to squint, right?
I naturally squint. I think
Okay.
I just, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you
but,
do.
But squinting means, you're not getting it.
Yeah.
If you say something and ask a question,
Yeah.
right? She says, if somebody asks what you do, don't tell them, right?
Right.
So would you, a friend or a business professional,
So she says, if somebody asks what you do, don't tell them.
ask a 3-part question. Would you, a friend or business associate, need to network but are allergic to it? That's what I do. I teach people how to get comfortable and actually enjoy networking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. That raises usually, if you can get somebody to raise their eyebrows, that means somebody's listening.
Fair enough. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We have to thank. We're here at the Clayton Park Bar and Grill.
Yes.
So thank you to them for hosting and let us record here. Dalene, thank you very much for coming on the show. And honestly, thank you. You've been a big supporter of us. You're constantly sharing stuff and liking stuff.
Thank you
like
for
you
that.
say.
We
So
do
thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
Yeah.
And you even asked us to speak at one of your events. So honestly, truly, truly thankful for your support. That kind of virtual and non-virtual support. We appreciate it.
100%.
You have
Yeah.
to know I am going to form the fan club, and anybody like you two who share positives,
Yeah.
who share and support people, I don't think there's any greater service that we can do to mankind.
Agree.
Okay, and you haven't seen the last of me, because stay tuned. We're going to be doing a big event for Small Business Week at the library with
Yes.
these two.
That's
Yes,
right.
we're going to come back and hang out with you again in
Yeah,
October.
in October.
I really look forward to that.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cheers
Cheers
to you.
Dalene.
Thank you very much.
That was great.
Thank you for listening to The Afternoon Pint. We are an independent podcast and we need your support. Please take a moment to hit that like, follow, and share button. Email us if you have an idea or suggestion for the show. Please send your feedback. We'd love to hear from you.